Hi, my name is Ava, and today I'm going to be talking about self-care and overconsumption. So first, what is self-care? Self-care is when you consciously look after your health, whether it be mentally, physically, spiritually, or there can be other ways. Self-care is often shown on social media in terms of consumption. Most influencers show self-care by buying many things, especially skincare or body care. And this can be kind of confusing for consumers because that's not truly what self-care is, but most influencers show it in terms of consumption. This also makes people think that buying things to make yourself feel better is actually good for you, when it's not. And it's okay to get a reward from time to time, but you have to know that buying things is not going to make you feel better. It might make you feel better for the first few minutes that you have it, but eventually that thing is going to stop helping you. So when people talk about self-care and then they always pair it with buying something, then that just makes people think that, oh, if I buy this thing, then I'm caring for myself and I'll feel so much better, which is not true at all. I previously talked about how social media makes people want to overconsume more. And this is because there's so many people whose whole social media account is just about getting people to buy different things. And there's a lot of talk about how you should reward yourself, and if you're feeling bad, you should just buy something or you should just ship something to yourself. It's nice in moderation, but at the same time, social media does not want you to do things in moderation because there's so many influencers that get a bunch of PR and they get so many gifts and they buy so many things. So it makes you think that you should be like that too, when that's not really good and it doesn't make sense for the average person to do that. So I'm talking about this when it comes to self-care, because social media often misconstrues the definition of it. For example, when you look up self-care on YouTube, the first few videos you see are about people shopping for self-care products or showing their self-care haul. So it's still on this side of consumerism where they're only telling you about their self-care that involves using products rather than something that doesn't. And most self-care doesn't involve buying things. So that's why it just really doesn't make sense to show it in this light. I think that most people understand self-care's definition as taking care of just your body in a physical way, rather than taking care of yourself mentally or in other ways, because most people show it by using skincare or using body care. Because whenever I see self-care, it's always about using a face wash or using a moisturizer or using your favorite lotion, and it's never talking about taking time for yourself to just have no noise and sit in the quiet. It's never about the mental part of it, which can continue to blur its definition. The idea of self-care has also gotten more popular as mental health has become more mainstream. People have more knowledge about mental health because of social media, and it also helps people find mental health care resources. So now that self-care is a big topic for people, companies want to make money off of that too. And these companies often make products that aren't necessarily self-care, but then they market it in that way so that people will buy it in hopes that it will help them. And this is what makes a lot of people overconsume, because they're at the stores and they see that this product is for their self-care, and so they buy it not knowing that it probably won't actually help, and they think that just because it's marketed this way that it will help them. Products that are marketed towards self-care are also health and wellness products, and most products like that are usually things that are not tested and they don't work. Now, there are some that work for other people, but a lot of the times these products can be like different pills that say that they're very natural, but most people just don't do their research properly for these products, so then they're taking these placebo pills that don't actually work, and they're extremely expensive, and it's just not constructive to their health. So here are some tips on how to spot the difference between a real self-care product and a self-care marketed product. So first, ask yourself, why do you want this product? Do you want it because others have it, or do you want it because you think that you actually need it? And that's always the first one, just because you may see someone else have it and just want it because they have it or because it seems cool, but not because you actually think that it will help you. And most of the times when you buy products like this, you're going to use it at first, but then you're just going to throw it to the side and realize that you didn't actually need it. My second tip is to research if it actually works. Because there are so many products out there, you may not know if it actually works for other people. Because there are some things where, for example, I take these wellness pills and they're not the normal approved pill that you'd get at your doctor's, but I think that they work and I realize that they work for me. But at the same time, I'm not gonna go buy all the other homeopathic pills and expect that those will work for me too. So it's good to do your research on these things and just see, is it working for other people? Will it possibly work for me? Do I like those ingredients? Do you want to put that in your body? You just need to make sure that you understand what you're using. Also, just make sure that it's not just a placebo. The third tip is to ask yourself if this aligns with your needs. So, do you actually need this product? Does it make sense in your self-care journey? Just because everyone is different. It doesn't really make sense to buy something if it's not a part of your self-care journey, if you don't actually need it. So you just need to make sure that you ask yourself that, because it's very easy to pick something up just because the packaging is nice or because you like how it's displayed. But you need to make sure that you actually need this product. And the fourth tip is to ask yourself, can you make this product at home? Because there are a lot of things that are really expensive in stores, but you can probably make it at home for way less. And I do understand that some things are kind of hard to make, or it just makes your life easier if you can buy it, but you may be able to tailor it to yourself more if you make it at home. So those are my tips on how to assess a product in store and see if you actually need it, if you actually like it, and if it will actually work for you. I'll also give you some examples of self-care that you can do at home without spending money. So the first one is something that you do in the shower. And this is when you've already finished everything that you need to do in your shower, and you turn up the water a little bit hotter than you had it before, and just turn around and let the water hit your back and just meditate for a little bit. Just close your eyes and breathe and try to let your worries wash away with the water that's falling down on your back. And this one's really good because you're already in the shower, so it's not something that you have to get up and force yourself to do. And you don't have to worry about any extra products or buying anything. You're just there breathing and connecting with yourself. My second example is to declutter your space. And this one is something that can be kind of hard to do sometimes. It's always hard to get myself to clean, but there are times when I realize if my room is really dirty and I'm not in the best mental space, it makes me feel even worse. So sometimes you just need to clean up a little bit. You don't have to full on organize everything. It doesn't have to be perfect. But sometimes just picking the clothes off your floor can make your space seem so much better. Because even in my room, I'll have clothes all over the floor and I pick them up. And I feel like my room is huge. I feel like the space is so clean and it just feels so much better. That one is a little basic, but I can guarantee that it will actually help you. This next one is to journal. So I know a lot of people have probably said to journal before, but my advice is just to start writing. You don't have to use a prompt, you don't have to do anything. Just literally write anything that comes to mind. So put on a timer for 1 minute, for 5 minutes, for 10 minutes, for however long you think you can do it, and just start writing. Doesn't have to be about your feelings. You can literally just start writing. I don't know what to write. Just keep writing. Try to write that whole entire time that timer's on, and once it ends, you'll probably realize that you didn't even notice how long it was. And I think this is a really good exercise because sometimes you'll start writing just about something boring about your day. Then you start writing about your feelings. You start writing about the things that are clogging up your mind. And it can really help when you just set aside the time to just write. Just write about anything. No one's gonna see it. Put it in messy writing if you're scared that someone's gonna read it. And just write about something. And I often find that it's hard to get myself to journal, which is why this method makes it easier, just because you've given yourself that time, whether it's a short time or a long time. And the hardest part is starting. So the timer gets you to start, and if you want to end when the timer ends, that's fine. And if you don't, you can just keep going. My next idea is to work out or do yoga. And I would suggest doing this with like a guided YouTube video or just something like that where you can follow someone and see what they're doing so that you don't have to worry about planning anything. And I'm someone who does not like to work out. I work out because I want to be strong, but that's not something that really helps me clear my mind. But I found that yoga helps me just because I like to stretch and I like when someone guides me along, and I feel that it's like a movement and a meditation at the same time. Because sometimes I find it hard to just sit down and meditate, and I don't want to be in just one space. So I like that I'm able to move while doing that. But some people find working out really good on their mind. And if you're one of those people, that'll probably help you. If you just follow a workout and you don't have to worry about what you're going to do next or how long it's going to last, just follow along and do what they do. So those were some of my examples of self-care that you can do at home without spending any money. And it is okay to spend money on your self-care, but you just need to make sure that it makes sense for you. So for example, I have this journal. It's a gratitude journal, and I actually got gifted this, but I really like it just because it helps me journal every day. It has these little prompts, asks you what you're grateful for, a daily affirmation, just simple things. But I know that that's not something I necessarily needed, but I know I'm at the point in my journey where I know I would use that every single day. And I do use it every day. So I would say to start your self-care journey first, realize your needs, and then buy things. Because I know a lot of people like to buy things at first. You want to start it, you want to buy things immediately, but that doesn't really make sense when you don't know your needs. Because you have to start caring for yourself to really understand your true needs and if you're actually going to use that thing every single day. You just need to remember that self-care is about taking care of your mind, body, and soul. It's not just about taking care of yourself aesthetically, even though social media can present it that way. And the practice of self-care can often lead to personal growth and change. So if you want to make a change to yourself or you want to grow and just become the better version of yourself, it starts with taking care of yourself. Because you can't change and you can't do these things that you want to do. You can't accomplish your goals if you're not caring for yourself at all, because you're gonna eventually be burnt out. And so you have to take care of yourself if you want to change for the better, which is why self-care is not just about you physically. You just have to realize that it's important to care about the parts of yourself that you can't see. And although these things are good for you, it is hard to start habits. So you just need to take it one step at a time. Don't have 5 million goals of all these things that you want to care for yourself in the day or in the week. Start off with one in the day and one in the night. And then you can add on from there just to make it easier to make those things into habits. And lastly, don't let people dictate what self-care means to you, especially people on social media, just because you don't know these people and you also don't know their motives. So you have to figure out what self-care means to you, just because, like I said, it's different for everyone. And you may need to take some time for reflection, and that's okay. But you just need to think about what that means for you and how you can help yourself. So if you like this video, leave a like and comment down below what you do for self-care. Thanks for watching. Bye.